proudest day, the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast, Season 2, Episode 31. Conor, we're going to talk rallying once again.
Absolutely, Kevin. And a weekend where there wasn't too many events, but we have another jam-packed show regardless.
Yeah, once again, there's just so many people to chat to, and, and that's just a great sign of rallying in its present form. But before we start, I suppose, can you like, share, subscribe, rate, comment, all those kind of things, all makes a huge difference. Anybody that wants to kind of share any wee stories or anything like that there, please feel free. I'm getting quite a bit of slagging on Facebook there that everybody else seems to be going to Rally Legend and I'm not, but I'm a bit sad. And this week we'll speak to Jimmy from Msport, who tells us all about their great victory there a couple of weekends ago. And then we also catch up with Ronan Caldwell and Kierans, the Irish Forestry Champions. And then Marty McCormack and Barney Mitchell talk all things historic in their life. And as always, it's fascinating and hilarious and everything else in between. And then we catch up with Ronan Comerford and his adventures on the FIA Rally Star programme. And then finish off with Conor Wilson, another young gun coming up through the ranks. And interesting story, he's competing in the Central European round of WRC coming up now in a few weeks. So we thought we'd chat with him and kind of get his story so far. But Conor, you got a chance to catch up with Jamie from Msport, and he was on cloud nine, jet lagged, everything else. But what a fantastic story.
Oh, listen, literally had just arrived home. Their flights had been cancelled, and another one delayed. That a huge, upset getting back home again from Rally Chile, but they were over, as you say, on cloud nine, over the moon, etc. So Jamie McMillan is Oitanic's chief engineer, and it really was a handful of them from Msport that were out in Chile. So, and not only that, they were running 4 cars as well this week, or on the weekend of the rally. So they had an awful lot to do. But again, just Oitanic securing the win. Bittersweet weekend, because it was also when we learned that I would be moving on from Msport. Not completely unexpected, but it was announced at the weekend. So bittersweet, but I suppose with 2 rounds of the WRC still to go, it was a nice way to kind of finish off, and with the hope that they might get something else in Japan or the Central European Rally as well, podium wise, from the Puma.
Yeah, I thought it was fascinating. Jimmy's chat, when he was talking to you, it was they're targeting 2 more ones, and development continues. Regardless of who's going to be in the car, at the end of this year into next year, development continues. It's full steam ahead.
Absolutely, yeah. No, look, as far as they're concerned, they're not taking the foot off the gas. Now, really, it is genuinely up in the air who might be coming into that team to replace Oit. So, whether it is a previous WRC Rally 1 star or a previous WRC competitor, or it's some of the junior drivers, it's really hard to know at the moment. I suppose, the team is still looking for financial backing and support, and that will dictate who they can afford, basically. But yeah, they are still developing away. They are still planning that, they're going to give it socks for the next season, next year's WRC season as well. So it is all to play for as far as the team's concerned. They're not, holding back or settling for less unless, they're forced to do so.
Yeah, so I think we'll hear from Jimmy.
So, Jamie, I'm sure you're shattered between flight delays and flight cancellations. You're not long home from Chile. But firstly, congratulations. Well done, Msport.
Yeah, thanks very much. So, yeah, as you mentioned there, we ended up getting caught up with a bit of a delay and a cancellation. So I spent 24 hours in Sao Paulo. So, I only got back sort of late last night, sort of around 10 or 11 o'clock. So, yeah, it's been a long trip back from Chile, but I have to say it's a lot easier with those long days traveling if you're coming back with a victory rather than frustrations of a disappointing result. So no, it was really, really good for the whole team. And, we've been working hard for quite a long time now, and luck sort of hasn't gone our way. So it was good to get another win on the board.
And, I'm sure it was a massive lift for everybody, both, everybody that was with you in Chile as well as back at home. From the engineer's recce piece, because I know that's very important, and we see the occasional video when it goes up and stuff, like that seemed to play a very important part, maybe more so than or maybe we were made more aware of it compared to previous events, particularly around tire strategy. So what was your thoughts when you were out on the recce, and your view of the stages really?
Yeah, so there's quite a bit goes on sort of before you even arrive at the event. So even before the engineers recce, we already have some data from 2019. Okay, it was on a different tire compound or different tire package then with the Michelins, but we knew even from that point that it was going to be at least quite demanding in the tires. So it was a different time of year then. It was a little bit damper, cooler, more mixed conditions than we had this time. But reading back through the reports from then, at that point we were already commenting on how much tire wear there was, specifically on the inner blocks. So okay, we didn't know if that was going to carry over into the Pirelli or not. Maybe it was something specific to the Michelin at that point. But in the past, generally the trends have been similar between the two compounds and the two different tire manufacturers. So we had that initially as a bit of something in the back of our minds, and then obviously we had Alberto Heller driving for us on this event, so he came over to Greystoke to do a test, and we were having a little bit of a conversation with him as the engineering team, and he was letting us know about the stages as well. So he gave us some good insight, and he specifically pointed out the Saturday being very abrasive. So and especially that third stage has been known to be a real tire killer for those guys in the past. So we all had some background information even before the recce to go in and say, okay, yeah, we'll now have a look at these stages and see how they are. So then obviously doing the recce itself, it was clear there was a different sort of mix of stages from Friday to Saturday. So no matter what we sort of found out on Friday, and that followed through into the rally as well, that didn't necessarily carry over into Saturday. It was quite a different mix, and we do our own simulations, and we have our own understanding of what the average speeds are going to be as well. So we knew that Friday was much faster, and in theory should be easier in the tires, and then on Saturday it was going to be a little bit more of a challenge. So all those points sort of played into it. I then had a conversation with Alberto's brother Pedro, because I've run both of those guys sort of 5 or 6 years ago in the R5. So I had a good conversation with him, and he was saying the same thing. Be really careful for Saturday afternoon and the final stage of the Saturday loop. So there was lots of sort of background information that played into that, and then we sort of do a recce, type up our notes. We know how much sort of bedrock, what character the stage is going to be, whether we expect it to rut, whether it's a very hard base, how hard it's going to be in tires, puncture risk, all these sort of things are all sort of noted down and then distributed to the engineering team. And then I'll have a chat with Oit then after he does his recce, and again sort of playing into this sort of theme. Oit was commenting again on the Saturday stages being quite tricky, and even then in his recce car he was saying he was struggling with the tires, and he felt that was going to be really important for the rally. So it's important for us as engineers to make a note of all these things. We've always got it in the back of our heads over a weekend, so whenever the time comes to make those decisions, that we're sort of clear with a mindset and an idea from the information that we've gathered in the lead up to the event.
Yeah, I referenced in one of the staging interviews that you're all gathered together in a shipping container making the decision.
Yeah, exactly. So this year actually it's been a little bit different for the gravel event. So you have to make a tire choice the evening before, because there's none of the morning services anymore. So and also you're sort of limited now in terms of when you can service the car. So once they sort of check in, you have a 2-hour window to service the car, whereas in the past we could sort of run it significantly longer, so we had a bit more time. So ultimately we don't actually have that long with the driver. So even before he arrives, I'll go and have a chat. The other sort of key member of the team who influences these sorts of decisions is our sort of weather specialist, Hannah, who's been with Oit now for quite a few years. So whenever Oit was coming back in the road section, I went in, sort of had a 10 or 15 minute chat with him, what are the average temperatures going to be like. He does the recce's as well, so what he felt on the stages, what it was going to be like, how it was going to develop through the day. Obviously, your road position is really important as well in terms of what decisions you want to make there. So we had a chat through that. Obviously, first stage of the morning was already quite long, and then the middle stage was a bit shorter, and the final stage was long again. So we felt even on the 27k stage, the first one in the morning, okay, the temperature is going to be quite cold, but the softs are still going to take a bit of a batter in there. And once they overheat, the tire wear goes up quite significantly, and you don't get the support from the block. So on the really hard base roads, you don't really get so much of a performance benefit, even if the sort of compound grip should be helping you. And I think the other thing that played into it, certainly for the other teams, okay, Hoyt went with 6 softs on Friday afternoon, whereas all other guys took a mixed package, and he managed his tires really well. So you would think then that would carry over into Saturday, and you might be able to lean more towards the softs. But we knew that the Friday stages were very different to Saturday, and we knew that Hoyt was being quite careful on his tires, so his looked quite good. But other members of the team that took softs on Friday afternoon, their tires were destroyed. So we all had that in the back of our mind, and before Hoyt sort of arrived in the container, we discussed with Hannah's, and between us we were quite clear we needed at least 4 hards in the car for that final stage of the loop, and if anything we were leaning more towards sort of either five hards or 6, depending on how you wanted to play it and whether you wanted to take a mix just for that first stage of the morning. So Hoyt came in, it was really me, Hoyt, Hannah's and Martin was sort of listening in as well during the conversation, and initially Hoyt was sort of leaning more towards going for the softs, at least 4 softs, and we, from our information, sort of led him down a different path, and ultimately in this occasion it proved to be the right one. So at that point, obviously we don't give out all of the information we have. I'm very much a believer in listen to what the driver has to say first of all, and then if he comes from a place where he feels like he's made the decision, then he's much more likely to make that decision work rather than us telling him, you have to take this choice. So I'm a big believer in like driver psychology and making sure that he is all part of the decision as well. So at that point we just let him down the path and said, look, we think 4 hards are going to be needed for that last stage of the loop, and fortunately in this occasion it proved to be the correct decision.
Absolutely, especially when we look at that third stage of the 28Ks, 27Ks, with double punctures on some of the cars coming in just purely because the soft tires wouldn't last. But
yeah, and the funny thing there is the Hellers encouraged us to go for hards, and they ended up going for softs and getting 2 punctures. So although they helped us, but they maybe didn't take their own advice.
Listen, sometimes happen. And Hoyt's car, pretty much seemed to run faultlessly. The only other issue that sort of publicly was stage 2 after a heavy landing, the hybrid system cut out. When the likes of that happens, is there like maybe a safety or a kill switch in that, or is it just that was just something that happened? And from a team's perspective, are you able to sort that out, or is that you need to bring compact dynamics in to do that?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, there were a couple of things on Friday morning that sort of cost us some time. So as you mentioned, the hybrid, so we've seen those issues quite a bit over the year. There's a accelerometer inside the hybrid unit, and whenever it sees a G of, I think it's 25G or something inside the unit, then it generates what's called a shock error and basically turns itself off, and it ends the warranty on that unit, and then it's up to us whether we want to continue using it without the warranty. For example, for Compact Dynamics, that's just their part of their terms and conditions. They'll check the unit and over just using the data, and they'll be able to say, yeah, we're confident or we're not, and then they'll be able to reset that shock error and bring it back to life essentially. So to be honest, it's happened multiple times. It's frustrating because it's not something that the crew can do themselves. Ultimately Compact Dynamics want to check the data before they do it, which is fine. You can understand that, but that meant obviously from the landing of that jump, Hoyt lost the hybrid for the rest of that stage, and for the whole next stage. So in the end, he loses quite a bit of time. Once Compact Dynamics are able to connect to the car, they can clear that error and bring it back to life. So they did that in the service. In the past, they can do it in regroups as well. So for example, if you've got a regroup before the power stage, I think we did it in I think it was 3 or 4 events ago. It wasn't Greece, but Estonia or Finland. They were able to go and connect and clear it before the power stage. So yeah, that's just part of it. I don't think we're the only team to sort of suffer those types of issues with a hybrid unit. But after that point, it was fine. Second pass, there were no issues. So yeah, it was just that one sort of bad landing. Besides that, yeah, I sort of commented Friday morning we had a bit of an issue with one of the dampers, but we got that changed Friday lunchtime, and then to be honest, his pace improved a little bit again in the afternoon once that was sorted. And then the only thing from outside was the spin on Friday morning as well. So probably by end of play Friday, we probably could have been maybe 20-25 seconds further up. But yeah, still it was good to be able to show the performance regardless of those little niggles. But the rest of the weekend ran really smoothly, to be honest. Saturday, yeah, no issues, and then yeah, Sunday was nice to finish that with a good result and no major sort of things to chase up. Now we're back in work, just some small niggly issues
to sort out. And again, there was no mention of power steering or water pumps or anything in Chile. So has anything changed there? Was it just no issues arose, or have you gone back and looked at those parts and made changes, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the year we've been working with the power steering system, so we think we're certainly in a better place now than we were sort of Monte Carlo time. So yeah, it was good. None of that sort of came to fruition, and yeah, water pumps was quite specific to Greece. We think we were running a new spec of water pump there, and yeah, there's still ongoing investigations as to why we think those pumps were causing us issues, but we were able to take them out of circulation for Chile. And yeah, whenever we went to the event, we were pretty confident that wasn't going to be an issue there, and thankfully that was proved to be correct, and hopefully we can manage that. Yeah, for the back end of the year, there's plenty of analysis and investigations going on back at Msport to make sure that that's properly ticked off and resolved, and we won't see issues like that again in the future.
And Chile, you were running 4 cars, which for Msport, that's tough going. You don't have the same budgets that the 2 manufacturer teams have. So how do you kind of cope? Far from home, probably skeleton staff. With the likes of that. Yeah,
it was a smaller team than we've had in the past. We only really had one sort of chassis engineer allocated to each of the cars, and then we had sort of 2 engine engineers there, 1 performance engineer from Ford, and yeah, that was basically the engineering team. I think there was 7 of us maybe. So that whenever you compare that to the likes of Hyundai and Toyota, I don't know their numbers from Chile, but I'm sure it's significantly more. So it's tough, but I think it's a small team, and if we work really hard, we can make things happen. And yeah, there's a few guys there. It was their first event in a while, or their first event running a Rally 1 car, and they were able to take on quite a lot of the load and did a good job. So it was a sort of combination of making sure they were in control of everything and happy with answering any of their questions, and also trying to keep our thoughts on winning the rally. So yeah, I think it makes the win all the sweeter, knowing that it's a really sort of, as you say, tight team, and we're fighting against these guys who have got much bigger budgets and significantly more resources than we had. So that also can't take away anything from the guys back at Msport either. They're obviously working a lot as well in the background and helping to keep push us in the right direction. They're always there to answer any questions if we need a hand with anything. But yeah, it's a little bit different than being on the vent in the high pressure and high stress situation, trying to make sure the cars keep running. But yeah, no, it's a team effort, and it's not just the on-event staff that can be proud and happy with the end result.
And 2 rounds of the championship left with Central European Rally in Japan. Central European Rally, brand new rally. It's taken in 3 countries where smaller local events have taken place, and WRC has taken place in Germany. But where's your baseline for a setup? Do you have something going to that, or is that only when you get to do a pre-event test? Or
yeah, so we've got a pre-event test. So we have a sort of base tarmac, and we know it's going to be sort of, let's say, more similar at least to Croatia than the likes of Monte Carlo. Okay, even Monte Carlo's dry, your setup's probably a little bit more similar to what you'd be running in Spain. When it's mixed, it's a lot different. So we have sort of baseline setups for different types of stages. Maybe something like April last year is more similar to what we'll see with some cuts and some more wet sections of the stages. So yeah, that's sort of the premise of the test team, they'll come up with a good sort of base setup from previous events, discuss it with Oit, and then all being well, we'll have a good test in maybe 2 weeks, and then drive the setup from there and see how we get on. But there's plenty of thoughts and plenty of options and development work going on for the tarmac car as well in the background. It's a little bit tricky now because really there only is four tarmac rounds in the calendar, and they're all quite different as well. So obviously Japan's going to be, again, you're going to want a different car from Japan than you have in Monte or Croatia or Central Europe. So it's not like circuit racing where you can just sort of put a tarmac setup in and get pretty close. So we know roughly ballpark where we need to be, and provided we get a good test under our belts, we're confident we go into that event and be competitive.
And then obviously we've said it's the last 2 events. It's obviously Oit's last 2 events of the team as well. So everybody aiming for to go out in a high, really, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see any reason why we can't go on and fight for the wins in both of those. Oit's been competitive in tarmac in the past, and we know our car hasn't been so far away, and we think we've made some good improvements to that, certainly in terms of the main issues, which were sort of overheating the tyres. We think we're better than we were sort of last year, so we'd like to think we can go and be competitive in both of those events. And looking at the championship, Thierry's 9 points ahead of us in 3rd position. It would be nice to sort of push that to the wire and try and at least take a 3rd for the team, because I think it's the least that we deserve. And to be honest, it's quite nice to have 2 victories as well. I think when you look at the championship through the year, that's actually more than Hyundai have managed. So we've had two wins with Oit, and I think Thierry's only had 1. So I think that the goal has to be to come away from the season with 4 wins, is to see how we can see if we can manage that to at least finish the season on a high.
And last point, will there be more development? Will we be see upgrades on the car for Monte Carlo or not long afterwards?
Yeah. Look, we're always pushing, and Oit can push the car quite hard and maybe in different directions to what we've pushed in the past, and that's fine. But pre-post Oit, we'll always be pushing the development of the car within what our restraints and what we can do, and within our resources. There's no question we'll be pushing as hard as possible, and already there's been plenty of conversations about what will be coming in at the back end of the year and through to Monte Carlo. So Oit leaving doesn't necessarily, certainly doesn't mean that development of the car stops. Whoever comes in next year, we want to fight right back at the front, whether that is for a full championship challenge or whether that's for individual events. Don't know. We need to wait and see what happens and what drivers come through the door, but we need to have a car ready for anybody who jumps in to win individual events, and the only way you can do that is by consistently and constantly developing through the year. So no question, development never stops.
Fascinating as always there from Jimmy. Also, I got the chance to catch up with the winners of the Wally Lochman Forestry there at the weekend, and also the recently crowned Irish Forestry champion is Ryan Caldwell and Arthur Kierans. So we'll hear from them. Joined now by the Irish Forestry champions, Ryan Caldwell and Arthur Kierans. Ryan, you set out this year with the intention of tackling the Irish Forestry. Did you think you'd come away with the championship at the start of the year?
No, we did not. Hey, we didn't actually set out to win the championship. We went to the first round, and it all went to well. Hey, in the first stage, we were 0.9 of a second off fastest. So we said, "Geez, we may give this a try," and hey, it worked for us. So no, we're glad it worked. Hey, we put a lot of time and a lot of effort into the whole championship. So no, it was good. It was very, very enjoyable.
Your first full year in an R5 car, it has, that's very impressive. You showed good pace in the Adam and the Fiesta and all that, but to still have the 4-wheel drive and settle in so quick. Obviously, yes, there's a lot going on in the background. You're obviously testing and getting yourself familiar with the car, but that shows the natural abilities there to do that.
Yeah, I have to say now, Patrick O'Brien and Kevin and all the boys at R317 and Arthur there, they were a massive help to me. They done anything that I asked, they would have done for us, and I have to say it was. I'm very thankful for that. For they helped me in every way. And even testing, Paddy would have sat in, and anything I was doing wrong, he would have says. And Stephen O'Brien obviously as well. Stephen is a great help to me as well. So no, it fairly adapt fairly fast for me. Hey, so it did. So we sort of went to the first round in Killarney, and I never really sat in the car. I'd done one run, one test in the woods, and it just Jesus, it was good. Hey, I really enjoyed it.
And like Arthur, like it's fair to say you're no longer a junior driver. You've sat with a few boys over the years, but like to see somebody like Ryan adapt so quickly to an R5 car like that, that's a special.
Oh yeah,
talent.
the minute the first stage when we competed, you knew BM. He had full control, and this is going to be somebody here now. He's on it. So only 0.9, and then we ended up second overall in that event. So we did, and I knew right away then that's this man. You get to know by the shape the man is making it, and you know who you're with, and you just knew right away that this man has it here. He's taking in the notes, and he's driving well, and making no mistakes, nice and clean and tidy and fast.
You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not listening to the notes and you haven't the car set up right, things don't flow. You need that flow. You need everything working together, and that's for yourself and the whole team come in and make all that happen.
Oh yeah. It is indeed. It's a team effort, Kevin. You have to the boys. 317, Kevin and Paddy and Stephen. They're a great outfit, and the car's in great tune, and it should prove it all year. Car's been ultra reliable. And that's half the battle as well.
Yeah. I think because Ryan, in fairness, you had very little car trouble. Probably the one rally that you wanted, ultra reliability, the Bushwhack, your home event. Everything seemed to, every time you touched the car, it seemed to go wrong. But overall, throughout the whole year, to step into a car that allowed you to battle at the front means a lot to you as well.
It was no shame for the car. Hey, for every year or every rally, it was in tip-top shape. And I'll actually, to be quite honest, it was sort of my own fault too. When we had the car slap and Dava, and we had the chicane the first stage, we actually think it actually damaged the throttle motor, and we didn't open the throttle motor to take a look, so we can't really blame the car too much either, or the lads. So, that's my fault.
But we keep talking about the forestry, how much it has improved over the last couple of years and all. It has got so competitive now as well. It's probably a really good place for you to come and learn your trade, because there's no easy drives. You have to be at the top of your game and pushing from stage one to the end.
Oh, certainly. Hey, the pace all year, the racing with Mark Donnelly and Jordan Hohen, and then we had Jason Mitchell mix it up and Jim Walsh. It wasn't easy all year now. They were always on our tail. Or I was
Yeah. And do you feel that has helped you develop as a driver? Do you feel you're a better driver now than you were at the start of this year?
Oh yes, definitely. It makes it high whenever you have somebody to race, obviously, and whenever you're in that R5 car, you always have somebody to race. So it's that tight, hey, 1 or 2 seconds or split second, and in that car it's a lot like. Mm-hmm. So it is.
And Arthur, from your point of view, we all talk about looking for this, the perfect setup, the perfect stage. With this young fella, at 21 years of age, to be involved with battles with guys that is 5-10 years older than him, and looking for that half second, looking for that fraction of a second. That's that must be a great job.
Yeah. Also, it is. And it makes the job easier when that man's going. Even the faster he goes, the easier it is to work with him, and then the easier it is to read the notes. Everything seems to click, and that stage 4 there last Sunday there, we said we would good push on. I think maybe it was one wee corner. I think we made one wee mistake on it. We got the rest of the corners were all perfect, Brian, and it was simple, and we set the fastest time on that one. It took what 1 point something out of Jordan, and and that was it shows the character of the man that he was fit to do that, to put on play a good second half really.
But isn't that mad? Like, you know, one corner that and it wasn't even like you made a big mistake. It was only like a slight
Well,
mistake
maybe
in
it
one
slid a wee
corner.
bit wide down. Yeah, that's
and
it.
and you're still only 1 point something quicker than Jordan Home. Like, you know, like,
That's right.
so Jordan must have almost had that perfect stage as well.
That's right. Oh yeah, indeed. That's it. That's the way it's got. You have to get
Uh-huh.
every corner. You have to get everything right, breaking everything. You know, off the lane as well, launch and all. You know, it's just that's the way it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what length the stage is.
Yeah.
You know.
Uh-huh. I think Ryan, like, you know, like, is it difficult to, you know, once he says go, you have to be inch perfect, millimeter perfect for the next,
Have
you
to.
know, 5, 10, 15 kilometers.
Yeah, every corner, hey, you have to be perfect. If you want a fastest stage time, you have to be on it in every corner, and you have to get your braking right. And it's mad because whenever I first stepped into the car, I actually didn't think it was going to be all down to that. Like, I was like, oh, geez, we'll be able to do a few. No, it has to be, everything has to be perfect.
That's
We
right.
don't overlogging on data and whatnot, hey, through this whole year of stages, and we learned all that. Like, it's if you break wrong in one corner, you're down a second. Like, you wouldn't think it all
Uh-huh.
works.
Holy God. And like, you know, as like, obviously that's all going on between events and maybe even at service. You're going through the data looking to see where you can improve. You know, it's not just, you know, the time behind the wheel when you're doing stages. It's the time away from the event. You put a lot of effort in there as well.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, and don't get me wrong, the guys in RC17, they all help me through it at all. So they're there every time. Like, they give me a hand with the notes and whatever, and obviously Arthur there with the notes as well. So that's one of my downfalls. Hey, I wouldn't have much experience in notes, but we'll have to keep learning.
But like, you know, what better man to be teaching you? Like, you know, as I said, Arthur's not a junior anymore, you know. But like, he's bringing
Yeah.
bringing such great experience to you, you know, that he's willing to give you that. You know, the experience can't, or money couldn't buy the experience Arthur has. I suppose what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's good help. Hey, so it is, and it's good to have someone like that on board. So even if we aren't right, at least he'll pick it up, you know. But no, it was working well all year now. So.
And like, you know, you mentioned Patrick and Stephen there and Kevin O'Brien. Though, like, you know, we've seen what they can do. Like, so, you know, if you step into the car and Patrick tells you that car is right, you have full confidence that you've got a one car below you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hey, whenever Patrick says it's right, and he doesn't think it's right. Stephen don't make sure it's right. So,
And like, Arthur, you know, from your point of view, you know, like R317, like a family team, but the quality of the car there put out is
Oh
second to
yeah,
none.
yeah. The workmanship of the car and what, you know, it drives the events in perfect condition, and you know you never have to say anything. The guys know what to do, and they're switched on. That's the way. That's the key to it. Like, they know exactly what Ryan's form is and what he wants and what everyone wants, and they want us to win as much as we do. You know, and it's just great. You know, the hunger's there with the boys as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I said the car is perfect. You know, you know the minute you're going up the stage. You know, when it's turning in and it's just working well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's fair play to the guys. That's all the time that they have it in perfect order. You know.
Yeah, and like, Arthur, from your point of view, like, the Irish Championship this year, like, it has been phenomenal. Like, you know, like the quality of the events that you've taken, you know, everyone's, you know, not only is the quality of, you know, the competitors rising up, the quality of the organisation, the quality of the events is getting better and better.
Oh, great! Yeah, great, Kevin. Yeah, I know it wasn't just a one horse race. There was plenty of guys out there with well fit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had Mark Donnelly, Vivian Hamill was there. There's a couple of Jordans there too, and you know, any of them guys, you know, could have won it. Like, there's only split seconds at some of the events as well. You know, in the finish up. Plus the organisation, the stages. You know, I must say a lot of the whole rallies stage were in excellent condition, and organisation was second to none. You know, on good lengths of stages. You know, the Bushwhacker was a typical example. You know, usually the stages are short and it's you know, a rat race right away. But the stages were great length, and then the Friday night stages added to that as well. You know, in the darkness, something different.
It was. I think, wasn't that such an experience that, you know, the Friday night stages. Like, there was some buzz about it, like, even service on Friday evening. Like, it was like going back 20, 30, 40 years ago nearly, wasn't it? You know, so.
Oh, it was great. It was great. It was something different, and you know, people are looking forward to it as well. You know, it's a pity we didn't get a funny. I enjoy night stages. You know, the bit of a challenge, reading the notes in the dark and getting your way through the darkness. You know, and it's I wouldn't. It doesn't fear me, but it's just you know, with good lights and cars now, it's just great.
And Ryan, from your point of view, like, you know, the variety of stages, you know, like it's different, you know, parts of the country. There are different stages. I think for all the size of Ireland, we have great gravel stages as well.
Oh, most certainly. Hey, I enjoyed every one of them. So did. So right down to the Oma Motor Club and all the clubs, they all run a fabulous rally city, and as Arthur says there, all the stages are in top shape like all years they were. But no, they're definitely very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, so like that's the championship wrapped up, and it was great to see you going there and competing in the last round. You know, you've already secured the championship, but you know it's nice to go and support the championship and turn up for the last event as well.
Aye, that's it. Aye, we went to support the championship, and obviously for event we had a brilliant event. Hey, so we did, and Jordan Home pushed on real well, and all the rest of the guys too. Niall Devine, and there was loads of people was putting on the push there was, but no, it was a brilliant event. Hey.
Yeah, and like Arthur, from your point of view, Sligo Pallets, you know, we know how well they've supported, like, you know, the Border Championship over the last few years, and like you've been lucky enough, you know, to have won that and won it. So to see them get involved now with the forestry too as well, you know, the professionalism they'll bring, you know.
Yeah, indeed, fair play to Andrew. I just was talking to him yesterday. We just the first Border Championship I won on the tarmac. That was his first year to sponsor it. And just a coincidence this year, he sponsored forestry, and I've got as a co-driver for it. It's great. You know, fair play to Andrew. Andrew, you know, that was a great coup for the forestry committee to get him on board. You know, and he'll put on. You know, in all fairness, he does support the thing, but both the border and the forestry. He's done an excellent job, and he's a great man to have on board. No, he's not
just somebody that'll, you know, throw you a quid and let him at it. He wants to be there and get involved. And
he's there, he's at every event, and you know, the drive of the day is in the forestry as well, you know, and with his jackets and that, and it's great, you know, it's great promotion for him as well, to promote his company, and he will, you know, and his prize givings will be, you know, excellent as well. He does a great job on the night, you know, I have to say that. Fair play to him, and we must thank him. We couldn't thank him enough for what he does, like, because those guys that do that they've got wild scares.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. And it's great to have him on board, you know.
Yeah, and Ryan, the one event that probably stands out to me, and maybe you'll think I'm crazy, I think you had a brilliant rally in Donegal. Like your first time in Tar in that car, and like you had a bad season in the Friday, but like the pace got better and better all weekend. And I know Patrick joked that he gave you the setup out of his car and the suspension out of his car on the Saturday, and then you really took off. But like, I think that showed a real level of maturity in the drive you did. You didn't lose the head on Friday. You were catching cars, and you know the times were coming. Do you feel that you come away from the Tar in an R5 3 days in the car? Do you feel that was in a better place after that?
Aye, definitely. It was a lot of learning in the full of 3 days. So it was the Friday we kept catching cars. They seated me 62 on the road, but we kept catching red cars all Friday. And the suspension, the setup just wasn't 100%. Weren't happy with. So I said to the guys in service, and they actually changed the whole setup of the car on one of the services, and it just absolutely changed the car. And then on the Saturday, and I just got to enjoy it more and more and more, and get quicker and quicker, and we were coming on it well on the Sunday evening, but hey, it'll take a wee bit of adapting to get onto the tarmac because everything's so much faster, and not that everything's so much faster, just there's far more grip, and then the notes is a wee bit more technical in the tarmac. So no, we'll hopefully try and give it a go next year.
I think Arthur, you know, we keep hearing that these R5 cars, like it's so hard, you know, to bring out the maximum out of them because they're so advanced. Like on the gravel, you know, you're probably at the maximum of it. Like there's probably not much more to come. Like there's so much more from this fella on Tar that, you know, like we said how phenomenal he is in the list. If he could on top that on the Tar, like we're in for a real treat.
Definitely so, Kevin. You know, this man has he's got a great talent, and he's driving at his leisure in the car. You know, he loves driving, and it's just might take him a wee while just maybe to get adapt to the car to the tar, all right. But with his notes and that, that'll have to be worked on as well. But give him a bit of time. He'll be up there. You can put money on that.
Yeah, and like, can you sort of give us a kind of a rough overview of what is the difference in tar and gravel? What is the style of driving? Is it more precision, or what is it that makes a difference?
Yeah, well, funny is, I think he went the right way by working in going to the woods first. That will, his car control that'll immensely improve that. When you can handle the car flat out in the woods and her moving about all over the place, come to the tar, then that'll stand to him. The control of the car. I find that once you see any of them guys that started in the woods, them top lads, they maybe all started in gravel and then come to tar. It's just not. It will come to them. The speed and the accuracy of the corner taking and that, and tire too is a big thing as well on Farm Academy. You have to be switched on to get using the right tire. With the Ford today, you'll get away with with the tire situation. Not as many compounds and stuff to worry about, or wets and slicks and intermediates. Tire to play a big thing in it as well.
And like Ryan, we've seen the way you approach your rally. You are like a sponge. You soak up all this information. An artist says you feed it into the into the car. Like, are you looking forward to the challenge of learning this? About the setup and tar and the tires and suspension setups and all that.
Yeah, it'll definitely be enjoyable. Hey, we hope to be going to Galway and the tarmac, so it'll be enjoyable because obviously you like learning, and it'll be something different too. A full year in gravel there, we only done the one rally in tarmac, but no, it'll definitely be very, very enjoyable. So it will.
Excellent. And like, just before we let you go, I suppose you seen Josh Moffat making a run at the drifting last weekend. Like, that's where you learned your trade. Was there, were you giving him a jealous look last weekend? Would you like to get back and give him a run at the drifting?
He's done perfect. He did, definitely. He's brilliant. My wee brother Jack last weekend too, and he's only 13, so he is. So he's learning the ropes now, so he is. So.
Is he going to be the next man down the stages?
No, for a while, I don't know, but no, he's chatting about but I don't know. We'll keep him at the distance for a while.
I was watching. He's a wee buck to be watching. I was watching him in Mondello on Saturday. He's another man coming.
The rally car to stick him yet, so we'll keep him drifting.
They haven't built one strong enough. Well, men, thank you very much for taking the time. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we look forward to seeing your exploits next year.
Just want to say a word there. Thanks to you. Yep. Thanks, Kevin, to you for your that work you do in your podcast. And that's great to promote the sport. And fair play to you. Well, it's just very interesting, and thanks very much.
Fantastic story there from Ryan and Arthur, and again, another pairing out of the MI Rally Academy stable. Ryan, he's playing a blinder and great result for him. And, coming to the end of the year, nice kind of closure for the end of the year to take the championship and to take the rally win as well.
That's for sure, and like this guy, 21 years of age, this is the proof of the pudding. We keep going on about the MI Rally Academy. Once again, it's shown its worth, really, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It genuinely is. And, and again, we're going to talk to Ronan shortly, another, what do you call it, person involved with MI Rally Academy. It's just everywhere you turn at the moment. They're producing the results, they're producing the goods. It's fantastic to see, and there's more to come, which is even more encouraging.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I also get the chance then to catch up with Marty McCormack and Barney Mitchell and their latest exploits in the European Historic Championship in San Remo at the weekend, and also some exciting news that they have as well, and an upcoming event as well too. So let's hear from them too.
Well, here, look, fantastic weekend. First time in San Remo. Wow, what a rally, what an event, what a setting at the service area. Absolutely beautiful. We managed to get, we were staying in town as well. Whole place, whole vibe. Weather was very good. Coming from the London rain at home now, nice mild 20s there was lovely. We had a puncher on Saturday. But look, just been told we ran wide in the corner. You know, we clipped the tire. It was. We were quite happy to come away.
Tell the full truth, Marty.
I would only be telling that.
Barney encouraged Marty a bit too much. So I wouldn't just be putting it in Marty running wide now.
Well, here, Marty never needs much encouragement, Eller.
No, I
don't. Go on ahead there, Marty. All right. But no, so we got the puncher. We lost whatever. I don't know what we lost, 30 to 50 to 40, whatever. You know it is. We lost. We drove on with the puncher and got away. No damage, no bother. Very, very happy. The stages on Saturday were probably a little bit wider, probably a little bit more higher speed. Certainly a lot more climbing in them, which seems to be a bit of a disadvantage in the M3 compared to the big hitting Porsches. Big hitting Porsches have the power up the hill, and that was very easy to see on Saturday because the first day or on Sunday, sorry, on the first stage on Sunday morning up the hill, we couldn't get that stage one, and it was the same the second time round. So you know, you can see the difference in the cars there. Whereas the other stages were a lot more. There was some uphill, but there was more downhill sections. So a couple of paddies in an M3, sure, down a hill, sure, where we go, like, you know. So the crack was good, like, you know, it was either going to be win, lose, or draw. The crack was good. But look, you know, could we have got him? I don't know. You know, his engine gave up as well at the end, but he was in, you know, the oil was running out of it going over the finish line, you know, so he was lucky that way. But very easily also, our rally could have been over with the puncher. You know what I mean? So, you know, we had a fantastic event. We never thought we would get as high place as we did. We did a test on the Wednesday with Matt's Van Brown built the car and runs the car, you know, out in them events. We changed a number of things, changed a number of springs, we changed front setup, we changed the diff to a lower ratio diff, and really felt confident with the car below me. Me and Barney went and wrote a set of notes over 2 days. Didn't take ourselves too seriously as normal. We go and enjoy ourselves at these events. We don't get bogged. We don't do DVDs. We don't do video recce's. We don't do that sort of thing anymore. We're there to go and have a good time, do an old-fashioned recce, and go and drive the stages. And it worked really well, I have to say. And I have to say, you know, on a note, like the commitment and the level of note reading that Barney had to do, like it was just non-stop. It was just non-stop for him to stay up and keep up with that level of workload. I have to say, take my hats off to him for it. Like, you know, he was there every time. There was times I didn't know what he was saying, like, but when he started shouting, I knew how to slow down.
So Barney, obviously a very busy event for you too then, because, you know, at such demand stages, like there's no let up. It's corner, like, and it's just continuous for the whole time that the stage is live.
It'll be like me a couple of years ago, about 6 rounds in on a Sunday and a high still. Got plenty of practice over the years talking shite really quick. It's very technical, and like as Marty says, the recce was wild tight for the famous last words. Like I says to Marty, "I sure handy old recce lad, it'll be dead on."
Oh.
Two stages on the two stages on the Thursday you're only allowed to do, and then the 2 stages. The way it works is, Kevin, you have 1 stage on the Saturday, and then they have 3 stages that joins together for the second loop to make 1 big stage. Okay. So when you're doing that recce, they combine that together. You take the whole thing as the 1 big stage, and you put your finishes and your starts on as you go along. So the first day was grand. We got the 3 runs over them, but then to do the second day, we only got 2 runs over it because it was like an hour and a half or 2 hours to get back around on the loop. But you had to be off the stage for 3 o'clock or 3:30 because they were using the end of the last stage in the opposite direction for shakedown. So it's still an FIA event. It's still run the FIA rules, and they like their rules. So if you're on a stage any time over and you're witnessed or a judge effect or whatever, you're getting the yellow sheet of paper, which varies from €1,000 fine to a disqualification. So you're not, you know, we probably could have chanced going to we only got the 2 runs over the Sunday stages then. So, you know, you probably could have chanced trying to go over the game, but you don't want to chance it because you just ruin your weekend. It's not worth it. Like, so, I definitely It was that's some crack when you've only done 2 runs over it, no DVDs or nothing like that, and our boy takes off like a lunatic down the hill because he knows he needs to make time. Like, fuck, I tell you boys, it's see if I don't get that corner ahead of him, the both of us need parachutes. Like,
But we spoke before. The level of the competition. These guys take their rallying very seriously. They are semi-professional. That the guys you're competing against as well too.
I would say that. The people look at the entry and maybe don't recognise names and things like that there, but the guy that actually won the event overall, I think that was the 7th or 8th time, won that. He lives up the road. He's in I don't know, she's not even a 1,000-kilo Porsche, and she's geared perfect for the job. She's 10-inch wide slicks on it. She's just built for that job, like for going up them hills. But now, you had Franco Cunico, got to meet him, got photographs of him. He was a hero of mine, the ex-Works Ford driver. There's a few other ones that were floating about there. Like the level's very high. The stages don't change much, and the guys are well practiced on it. And you need to be on the guy. We were standing on the finish ramp. Turned to Marty and he looked at Marty. He goes, "This is your first time here?" Marty goes, "Aye." He goes, "This is very, very recommendable." Only the likes of Chris Meek or some of them lads that come over to them stages before really clicked into them and beat the locals, So and Craig Breen, I suppose, as well, showed them a few clean heels. But here, look, it was a great week, great event, great crack, and there was other Irish crews over there as well, and that added to the thing, and that brought a good atmosphere. Everybody was enjoying it.
Yeah, Marty, does that bring an extra dimension to it? The likes of Donald Kelly and Alan Ring and these guys there competing as well. That there is a bit more banter between themselves and Ernie Graham, like another man that's been a long time supporter of the European historics as well.
100%. So there's nothing like being meeting Paddy's and holidays, like, you know what I mean? Like, sure, it's all we all club together and have the crack and the test and the recce and all that. It is a great atmosphere, and it's great to see. Honestly, like, we've done a few European events, and certainly over the years I've done a few European events, and like I've seen me walking into what could be explained as a front house in the south of France till sign on for a rally, and you look down through the sheet and you're the only non-French crew there, and it is a bit daunting, I suppose, at times, but to have the camaraderie of the Irish competitors there with you certainly brings an extra dimension to the event. And as we say, that this is our time, this is our free time, this is what we choose to do with our holiday time. So to have that whole thing mixed in with it, and as I said, the setting, it's a service area where we sat on our chairs eating our bit of lunch and our barbecue in the evenings, and we literally were looking out on the sea. Like, there's a photograph of Barney after the rally.
All I had in my head all day was, we get through this fucking day, I'm jumping straight into that water to cool down. And that is exactly what I did. Nobody said, "Where's Barney?" And the next thing, I let a roar out of me, and I had a big bottle of beer and me lying in the sea.
His notions of himself being one of these Formula 1 drivers or something now, has he jumping in there after?
No, I took my race suit off because I had to buy mine.
But it was one of them days, especially on the Sunday. Like, the pace was mega, and it's certainly, there's days that it clicks and it works, and you can work with it, and you can drive yourself on to stay on that sharp pace. And I suppose, with the few events we do now in a year, we're planning on doing a few more before the end of the year, of course, but we're not out every month or nothing like that there. And it's not often now, I wouldn't say it's not often, but to get that feeling, that click when you're not doing the miles in the car that used to be doing your 12 events or whatever a year, you when that comes to you, and you get the car underneath you, and Barney's, right behind you all the time. When that comes together, that's a fantastic feeling. But it is, the speed is there. You are going down the side of a mountain in Italy. You are, pushing it till what you think you can get every second out of your car. It's that edge, I suppose, that the relief from that as well, that you've got through it, is certainly, it's something special, and it's definitely a special thing to share with Barney, It definitely is. Like it's great.
Yeah.
And like you've had the M3 now for a few events. Is this the first time that you've really felt the car beneath you and you felt it really working? You're getting out of it what you're putting into it.
Yes, I definitely would say that. We did the Switzerland rally, was it last year, Barney, and Mats's car?
Oh, Austria.
Austria, sorry. But then Mats's car. But I'm not a great person in a hire car or somebody else's car. It's not mine. And as much as I try and switch that off, I suppose, and just drive the car for what it is, it's always a thing you'll see that there's always probably a percentage of me holds back a bit to get the thing to the finish, or ensure a higher level of safety. But we did a couple of events. We did the Donegal there, although we didn't get a lot of mileage there, and we did Sligo, which unfortunately didn't end well. So that put a bit of a damper on the whole thing, and we just didn't feel the need to go rallying for a while, afterwards. So we didn't. And then this came up, and funny, I was on the plane or landed in Nice on last week, and I thought to myself, this is good. I'm ready for this. I feel this is good. This is time. The work done well with work, and everything was happening there. And the whole thing was in good form the whole way through. And it was I have to say, it was right up there with the top weekend. It really was.
Mm-hmm. And like I remember talking to you before, this was before you even got the M3, and the thing you were looking forward to was power steering and roof vents. So did them things come in really useful at the weekend?
Most definitely. I don't know how many times I said to Barney over the weekend, thank God we're not here in the Escort.
And the roof vents are mega too.
Oh, they are.
So, Barney, you would highly recommend anybody to go and compete in these events. It's, there's something beyond Donegal. Yes, that's great. No, but these are like go and do it if you have the car, capable of doing these events. Go and enjoy them.
Well, I think for us, you'll always come up against a local, but you come up against a fair fight. With the vehicles that you're racing again and things like that. Like there is a structure to them that sort of helps us out a wee bit. That Marty has the experience and the knowledge and the confidence to go and write a set of notes, and you just go at it and see how it fares out. But they're definitely, for the experience, the overall pound for pound thing. Like you're getting the holiday, you're getting your rally, you're getting an adventure as much as just the rally. Everything's new. You're going up a road section, you're looking around, you're going, Jesus, that's class. Look at this, look at that. There's things are different, and you're challenging yourself because, for me, from the co-driving end of things, there's a wild pile of stuff that you always had to keep your eye on that you wouldn't run a local rally. From your tank controls to if you miss a junction at a peage or whatever them call them things, you had to throw your money at them. It's just silly wee things could turn the whole thing. Sure, there's something you didn't mention, Marty. We were heading out to the first stage. We had a bed the brakes in. There was brand new pads put into the car, so you had to just put them through a couple of heat cycles. And so Marty went to put it through the first heat cycle. Here the car stopped dead in the motorway on the autostrada.
The motorway on a bridge and a 40-footer.
No hard shoulder, nothing, and 40-footers other side of us. And I tightened my belts instead of getting out of it. Because you were just waiting on the and then you were the thing about it is this happened to me and Greg in Asturias, the same problem, and I was that worried about actually being on the road. I didn't remember that this happened to us before, and it was a very simple fix. It's just that the car goes into an extreme safe mode when she thinks she's low in oil. When Marty braked hard and pushed all the oil forward, the sensor said she was low in oil, so she cut herself off to save the engine. So for them 30 odd seconds, wherever we were sitting there, and I'll tell you, this is heading out to the first stage. You're just thinking, Jesus, this is how it's going to go. So, but thankfully, we run Greg actually on the road section, and he knew straight away. He says, "That's what happened to us." And then, right. So no lorries had us, and we got the petrol station, got a bit of oil, and on we went.
No, it definitely was. It was a bit of a heart stopper that, but just when you touched on there, Barney, as well, there was something very special about driving down a stage that I didn't know where I was. I hadn't a clue where I was at. There could have been anything coming at me, and I hadn't a clue, and I was hanging off every word Barney was saying. and
That's usually not a good idea.
just don't do it on a night out. That's
No,
all I
don't do it on a night
car
out.
is okay, yeah.
Aye. But
Or
no.
or wear a helmet if you're on the night out.
That's right. Probably advisable. But no, there was something very special when Barney, called like something like a flat 4 right or something, like a corner with a fair bend on it, and you had a bit of a gap before it. You couldn't read the road. You couldn't see. To me, coming towards it, it looked like it was tightening or it wasn't, and he call it flat, and you just throw the car up another gear and you turn it in and you just say, well, I've been down this road twice before. I've told him to ride it, and he's really repeating it back to me in a very, very confident fashion. So it must be right. And you get round the corner and you realise it was right.
Or it must be stupid.
I think it's that sense of relief.
But that to me, I remember even when I done a bit of driving, that was the bit that you really get your buzz, was committing to a note. And you're committing to every note down them hills, and that's the thing. And you have to know when to pull the thing back,
Yeah.
Because you only waste time, you only wash out if you understeer in a long corner, compared to a short or whatever, and that's where Marty's experience comes into. There's knowing how, you'll hear a lot of these drivers put in half longs and different things they got there. And when you get into them rallies, you realise what they're there for, and you'll get a lot of notes around home. People going, "What's that all about?" Because they're memorising the thing more than anything. But knowing where to put your foot on the throttle in a corner and a lot of these events makes your time.
Yeah.
And that, to me as well, that's great to see, that he's listening. First of all, and so then that you can build off that, and you get into a rhythm. There's no time, boys, you get a wee chill up to your back, and you just think, this is class, and then you shit yourself because you're nearly late to the next corner. You got to stop thinking about them things again and put your head down and concentrate. So, but there is stuff like that last stage on the Saturday, I thought was just bonkers altogether. But it just was fucking class.
Excellent. And then, Marty, you talked about these adventures you have. This is the start of the adventures now. Heading off to Greece now in the next couple of weeks for another adventure.
Yep. It was actually Greg, the brother's idea. He says, he said to me one day, he says, "What about going to Metropolis?" I says, "Well, anybody says to me, what about going to Metropolis? Like you think of Harry Vanton and the Rotham's car." Yeah. He says, "I think it'd be a good rally to go and do." And I says, "Well, I says, I'll ring Barney." So I says, "Barney could be too busy,
I won't say
So conversation with Barney, are we going to Metropolis? Aye, that'll do. Okay.
No, whether, how, or when you.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
So figure that out when we get there.
Really looking forward to Metropolis. Something new. We're going there in the escort. We'll take LIB out, the FIA car again, and we'll have a go at that, see how it goes. And I suppose, as Barney touched on there as well, I suppose I'd like to say a bit about it as well. These FIA events, yes, certainly at the start when I started doing them, I thought they're a bit over the top, maybe with rules and regulations and stuff like that. But you get into a rhythm at them, and you get into their way of going, and you certainly see the people behind it and the organisation and the effort that goes into it, and you get to know that, yes, don't get me wrong, on a Sunday evening after a tough event, and you're warm, you're probably dehydrated, you want to go to get something to eat to share in the bar, and you get pulled in for post-event and they're asking you to screw hubs off or screw and then that manifold off or whatever. You're like, what the hell? But it keeps it fair, and that's why we're there. You know what I mean? That's why we're there. Everybody's there on okay, your Porsches have the advantage with horsepower up the hill. We have an advantage down the hill because our car's better set up with a better go-kart field. We've got power steering. Your Escort doesn't, but your Escort will work better in the gravel because the travel. It is what it's supposed to be. The cars are what they're supposed to be, and it makes it a very fair fight.
Yeah. And that Acropolis, as you say, you think of Harry Vanton and back in the 80 and 81 and all that, and the temperatures will still be quite high at this time of the year and all there too. That will bring its own challenges as well.
100%. 100% will do.
I hope there's less mosquitoes.
and then you come off the Acropolis, and is it already in your head that the RAC rally, this is becoming it's becoming the event of the year? We've seen some of the names that's been released over the last few weeks. Chris Meek, Oliver Solberg, God rest him, Craig Breen, that was, you know, it was going to be the pinnacle of his year too. Like, it has become something beyond the event itself now. It's become a mega rally.
It is. I think it always was a mega rally. It's only now it's getting the
kudos.
Kudos and attention that it has. Like, you know, always, and it's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic to see the level of competitor and the level of cars that are coming to the event, and it's brilliant, and it's great to see it, because the work that Colin Hempstill and his family and the whole team around him do for these events. When you see all the problems with running normal events, you know, to run one this size, like, I'm so chuffed for his whole team, because they are genuine competitors themselves, who are there for the competitors, who put so much work into making a special event. And it's just fantastic, and it really is fantastic to see that it's going so well. Look, we'll be there come November. We'll treat it like no other RAC, you know, or like any other RAC. Sorry, we'll go there. We'll get the car into shape, and I'll tell each other. Me and Barney, I'll tell each other for the next 6 weeks that we're going to lose weight, and we'll end up there. That was everything.
Eating lightweight pizzas.
Come Friday evening. Usually Friday evening, they need to put a defibrillator on me. I'm ready to die. I'm telling Barney, there's no way I can take this car in the morning. Put a pile of protein shakes on me. I go for a big long warm bath. I get up in the morning and say, "Oh well, I'm doing nothing else." That's what it is.
And like, you missed the last event, so like, is this even more anticipation this year? You know, you were so busy with work commitments and one thing and another. You had to pull out from last time. Is there an extra age almost to it this year?
Kevin, I try not to let it get too much, because people who know me know that when I was rallying my R5s and stuff like that, there was a lot of, I took on a lot of pressure. I took on a lot of pressure, the team, the people that was supporting me, etc. And it didn't necessarily bring the best out of me and the people around me. So I'm rallying now for myself and for everybody around me, and my family and Barney and all, to go and enjoy it. I've, without trying to sound wrong about this, I've won it 3 times now. I've done it. I'm in no pressure to win it again, so I'm not going to put myself under any pressure to win it again. We'll do what we normally do. We'll put a bit of work into it, and we'll go and enjoy ourselves, and we see where we end up. Yeah. And I think that's, we've had like the last 3 times I've done it, I've won it, which is I know it's unreal. I'm so lucky to have that. Like, not to have a bolt break in the car somewhere, or me to go through one of them hedges. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So we're due a bit of bad luck on it, to be honest. That touch doesn't come, but if it does, I can't complain.
Mm-hmm. And like, Barney, you always talked about, the McCormack thing. Like, it's a family thing. There's a WhatsApp group. There's the having the banter. There's having the crack. And for you, that's what rallying's about now. You've been about long enough now to know to go and enjoy it.
Well, that's the thing about the RAC that to me that makes it special now, is the backroom team gets a front seat for this rally, because they are so involved in it, and they get their moment out of it, and that's the bit that means so much to us. So, win, lose or draw about it, as you say, we're not too worried about anything other than getting everybody out, having the crack. Boys, you're standing out at the end of Twiglies or something. What I do, I haven't even looked at the stages yet, but whatever they are, and the jack goes underneath there before you. I was telling Chris Speak yesterday, the jack goes out before even the helmet's off, and somebody's in at the door throwing a look as at you or something like that, and asking you how you get on, and you get out of the car, and there's nothing but you, them, we, the people, and the stars. And you're putting fresh tyres on and a wee drop of fuel, and you go at it like fuck again. You do not get that in any other rally. And everybody else that is servicing for you or looking after you, or anything to do with the team that you're in, it's special for them, because they're not just stuck in a service area the whole time as well. They're out and about. They have to be responsible for themselves and make sure they're in the right place at the right time with the right stuff and giving the right answers to the questions we'll ask them, because you only have them a couple of minutes and then you're moving on again. So that's what makes it. It's not the result that we're looking after when we get excited about this rally. It's everybody ganging together and having it's just so unique, and it's something that the boy says you tell everybody else about, but nobody else knows until they experience it.
It's always a pleasure to chat to them two boys, and the faith they put in each other. Yes, they have the crack, they have the fun, but the faith and commitment they put in each other Barney calling the notes and Marty putting in the steering input. It's class. It really is. And Conor, you also get a chance to catch up with Ronan Comerford as well.
I did indeed. So we had spoken to Ronan, I think, back around June time, just because he had recently enrolled into the FIA Rally Stars program as a co-driver paired with the Oman driver Abdullah. And what do you call it? It was a chance to see how Ronan's getting on, and a very busy guy. Like, he's been competing since we've spoken to him last. He's been competing in, off the top of my head, Austria, Italy. He was in Estonia there at the weekend. And as well as that, he's been attending quite a few of the WRC rounds with the MI Rally Academy as well, getting to learn what goes on behind the scenes and that. So I thought it was great to have a catch up with Ronan, not so much about Rally Academy this time, but actually just what's happening with the FIA Rally Stars program. So they're down almost the wire now. There's 2 rounds to go. And I just wanted to get his thoughts on where things were at, how it was progressing, and kind of what's to be expected there before the end of the year. So let's hear from Ronan. So, Ronan, you're just back from Estonia. The FA Rally Star program, 2 rounds to go. How's it going for you?
Yes, Conor, thanks for having me on. It's going really well, to be honest. It's called coming thick and fast. We've had 2-3 rounds already there before Sarema, both in San Marino, Austria, and then Nova Gorica. And from Nova Gorica, it's nearly every second week that we're going now. And we've just finished Sarema and getting ready for Rally Spain and then the Lausitz's Rally in Germany. It's going really well overall. It's from whenever I look back from Sardinia's training week and then getting the opportunity to do the recce for Rally Italia Sardinia. I've learned so much, and it's one of them things that you've learned that much, you forget it. So it's just it's just been a really real roller coaster of a time. And very thankful for the people that's made it happen, because without their support and ongoing support, I might add, it has just been really, really good.
And just to remind anybody listening, so you're a co-driver on the program and you were paired with Abdullah Al Taqwi. So you didn't have a choice in who you were going to be sitting with. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, we didn't have a choice. I was actually sort of late coming into the program back in May, whenever the training week was about to start. I got a phone call on Thursday night, and the whole thing was starting on Sunday. So the whole training week and everything. So I only had Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to get everybody contacted and introduce myself, you could say, from it. But to be honest with you, it has been really, really good, because Abdullah is basically only started rallying this year. It's very limited experience. And it's really good because I am in like a coach for him as well as a co-driver, showing him how everything's done and keeping him on the straight and narrow. And it's a good learning for me, because whenever I'm sort of repeating myself or doing something over and over again, I learn from it as well. So it's a crew effort, so it is. And of course, if we look back from Sardinia's training week to now, we've come quite a long way, and the results is beginning to show, thankfully.
And how's the relationship building between yourself and Abdullah? Like, are you in touch between rallies? Is there regular contact?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Obviously, as I say, because this is only his first time competing on events, it's constant in the sense that we're always planning for something else. We're having Zoom calls together. We're doing different documents. We're doing, constantly learning. And I suppose the distance of where we both live is quite hard. I know back at the week before Austria, we met in France and done a training week there together, just ourselves, doing pace note mentoring and route, just going over the general things to be aware of whenever you're preparing for the event. So we used the Rally de Mont Blanc route over in just the south there towards beside Geneva. And then we went north to Paris to do a test in a 208 Rally 4, and just to give Abdullah more confidence and time in the seat, to be honest, and get to understand what everything is about. And then it was straight into Rally Wies in Austria there. So it's constant, it's ongoing, and as I say, it's even more now, because it's just one thing after another now to the end of November, with these last 2 events remaining. So it's going good.
And Estonia at the weekend, back onto gravel, some very tricky conditions, from what I saw on the various clips, media clips. The weather was just playing havoc.
Yeah, that was the first event I would say in 2 to 3 months where I've had that type of weather condition, because I've been used to 42-degree heat, both doing the ERC rounds and the last 2 Rally Star rounds. So it was from one extreme to the next. But yeah, Friday night was very tricky. It was stage 1, 2, and 3, and they were only run once. And you were sort of glad, because by the time you had finished the night, the rain was blowing sideways. There was fog. You couldn't see a thing. It was just, and for me to keep on track and for Abdullah to keep on track, you felt like you were driving around the stage, because it was just so tight and twisty and narrow, and so wet. The ruts was just crazy. Got so deep in places, and but yeah, that's the challenge of it, and that's what you like to see, and it needs to be like that technically to learn, because it's no good just turning up and everything being all fancy and lovely. It just has to, you have to have all them conditions to really test yourself and know how to deal with it whenever it happens again.
And the other crews are pretty much in similar boat. They're not familiar with each other prior to the FIA program. And, a lot of them are new to rallying as well. So, is there a comradeship there, or is it quite competitive?
No, I would say one thing is for sure that we do help each other out. Yes, of course, we do a lot of things on our own, and obviously as co-drivers especially, we're always planning on different things. But we do share information and experiences with each other, because that's ultimately how we're going to learn and different things. So I wouldn't say it would be like very competitive. Of course, it does get a bit competitive, and you're always looking to be as close as possible per kilometer or a second off the fastest Rally Star driver or anything like that. But in regarding anything else, it's very much a team effort as well as an individual crew effort as well.
And 2 rounds to go. So next up is Spain. What's the preparation for that?
Yeah, back to Rally Rack Catalunya. The event is going to run obviously solely on gravel, and it is using the stages from the 2019 edition of Rally WRC. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes there. I know they are quite a lot more rough in places. We're always doing stages review on that. So it'll be interesting to see how that fares out. The temperatures there at the minute is quite high, and look to be quite high for the event. So it'll be about managing your preparation for heat and different things. So that you don't get heat exhaustion and stuff like that. So yeah, and then regarding the paperwork side of things, it's the recce schedules are being done, the team schedules. We're preparing the stage plans and different things there as well, and constantly coordinating ourselves with Msport and making sure everybody's on the same page. So yeah, it's going well. And as I say, sometimes it can be frustrating, because the events only limit some information that's available to you, and then you're seven to sometimes go and ask for information, and they don't like to send information, and it's just a wee bit more. It just creates a wee bit more of a rush then whenever you do get the information, because they release it so close to the event. But not every event does it, and that's a learning process of how you want to deal with that whenever it all comes out. So yeah, the preparation is going well. As you say, 2 rounds to go, and then we'll see what the outcome is after that.
And I suppose that's what's going to be my next question is, it's getting closer to the time, and what all goes into the decision-making process? Like, is it just purely results-based, or is there more to it than that?
No, there's a lot more to it than that. So there is, of course, results is part of it, but the team are looking to see what we have learned from the very start in our number 1 in our training week before Sardinia. Before the recce in Sardinia that we done to learn there as well. And then from what we learned there, did we carry it forward to San Marino? And then have we learned anything in San Marino to carry forward then on to the tarmac? So because we had to adapt quite a bit then to tarmac for the last 2 rounds. And then now we're back on gravel. So before the last, the last event there in Sarema, we just assessed the whole situation as a crew together and everything that we've learned. And yeah, just sort of done a full reset and was like, right, let's go racing and not have anything to, we kind of used the first events just to bed ourselves in, get used to the rules, regulations, everything like that. And now once that is all complete, we are ready to go. And we were actually pretty surprised with ourselves at the weekend there, because we did do quite a lot of work in the lead up to it and different things. So it's nice whenever the results show and you're sort of paying off. But obviously the rest doesn't stop. It's just straight into the next one now. So it's going good.
And you mentioned there how busy it is on the FIA Rally Star program, but obviously you're still involved with the MI Academy. So, I suppose you don't have much downtime at the moment.
No, definitely not. It's rallying is my job now at the minute anyway, so it has to, just with everything that's going on. So constantly coordinating myself with Motorsport Ireland as well. Of course, they are the key people and involved in different things, and that's how I got involved into the program. So there's not really, I think all the Irish events now is clashing with these other European events, so I'll probably not be doing much more for the rest of the year in Ireland. And then after that, I'll just probably reassess the situation and see what happens for next year. But quite a lot of work to do on just before that. And again, it's thanks to the whole team of the FIA and Motorsport Ireland, because without their support, it you couldn't do it all on your own. It's just something that it's a constant learning process. But it's nice to have the experience and knowledge and the different people also that comes on our events for the Rally Star as well. We had Anna Nordqvist there last week in Sarema. She is the CEO of Rally Sweden and the VP Vice President for Sport in Europe. And we've had Robert Reed with us in Nova Scotia as well. So we have them people there to come and support us and give us extra tips and advice, because they've been through this whole experience and have got actually quite high in it, of course. So it's nice to hear their experience and take their advice on board as well.
That's it. It's fantastic opportunities, not just for picking up knowledge and learning new things, but the doors that it's opening for you as well, just the connections you're making.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like Nicholas there is one of our advisors, and obviously he's the deputy WRC safety delegate with Michelle Mouton. So and it just everybody that you meet there and has some really good and interesting stories to tell, and you're always looking to hear them, because you can pick up on so many things and you can relate to so many things as well. Nothing's ever a problem. If you've ever have any questions or concerns, you always go to them and you tell them what's wrong, and there's always solutions found to get everything rectified. So the contacts that I've made, and it's always constantly expanding, but the contacts I've made at the moment has just been incredible, and it's probably like a lifelong dream, because you see these people all the time on YouTube and Facebook and everything, and you'd aspire to meet all of them, and then here you are just meeting them, and it just sort of, you have to take a minute to think, who have I just met there, But other than that, no, it's really good, and something that's a good, brilliant privilege to be involved with.
And it's not just the networking opportunities as well. Like, you're obviously Msport are running the car. So do you get a chance to kind of see the mechanical side of things?
Oh, of course. The mechanical side of things and working with Msport is a massive part of it. Obviously we have Maciek there, who is our team principal with that end of things, and really supportive and gives great advice to us as well. And then we have our own engineers assigned to us, and our pod managers, who is in charge of the communication with over the whole event, and they're constantly reviewing the data of the cars and making sure everything is working as it should. And then also again going back to the training week, we done numerous things, changing components of the car, on different things, that whenever we were out on the stage, if something breaks, we know how to fix it, and we constantly do that throughout each event, as well. So working with Msport is a great thing, because it's a team, obviously, environment, and everybody's there to work together, and the communication then from us out on the stage, coordinating back to the team at base, so lets them know everything that's going on whenever the car's not in service, basically. So it's really, really good, and they have to be thanked as well, because their work and efforts and everything they do for us is just to be commended as well. So really, really good.
And we've seen on the WRC the importance of the roadside repairs, and the crews can only use what tools they have in the car. So for you guys, what are you carrying in the car? What are you expected to be able to fix, or what have you been showing how to, or what's the most interesting thing you've been showing how to make a quick fix?
Yeah, well, I would say, we obviously we have the toolkits and all in the car, and everything else is there for us to use. But I suppose maybe we carry like spare timing belts with us. We wouldn't carry anything major, to be honest, because we're probably more so taught to fix something or hold something together till we got back to service, as well. So maybe if an arm is bent or something, you can figure out something how to maybe get a ratchet strap and put it together and tie it as best you can, or something like that. But the roadside repairs will be more so to do with, engine mechanical wise. We have a handbook for the car and everything's described to us in it. So that if there's an engine issue, we can look at it. And if we can't fix it on the road whilst talking to the engineers or anything, then obviously it's either retirement or else they'll come and they'll try and do their best to sort it. So it's probably more so that end of things instead of actual physical things, but of course we do carry timing belts and different things to get us back to base.
And that's a good overview, sort of the mechanical side of things. But I suppose tire management is an important piece. Like, what have you learned around that, or what are you learning around that side of it?
Yeah, tire management is a huge part of it, to be honest. There we're obviously only allocated a certain amount of tires per event, so we have to do our best to manage them, and we always get that information before the event, so it allows me to create a tire plan in order of what we can use it, when we can use it, etc. Obviously, like the tire plan will only be, I would say, maybe like provisional until the event starts, because we need to see what tire wear is going to be like, and we need to see different things like that. Then also, we have various compounds available to us, as well. So we have wets, hards, and softs. And obviously, because of the end of season prizes, the junior WRC, they try and keep it as realistic as possible, as that's how they operate in that category in the juniors. So that's a really good challenge as well, because it's not something like, of course, whenever we're doing rallies, we might have 13 Rally 3 cars or something in an event like we had in Sarema. But all them other crews can put as much tires as they want onto the cars, and they can do everything else and have loads of compounds. But we're only limited to certain compounds, obviously, because our structure and our goals are different. And it makes more sense then, obviously, because this is a training season, training year. This is the whole reason for it. That's why it's done. So, but it actually is very good, because it makes you think and understand the elements of the tires and what they can do in different conditions as well, because it's just something that's really, really important. And yeah, then we're going to Spain next week, and Spanish regulations don't allow tire warming, so you have to think of all that side of things, the regulations regarding the tires then after it, what you can do in events, what you can't do. Sometimes you can cut tires, sometimes you can't cut tires, so it's just it's a really good learning process, and everything involved is done for in a way for a certain reason.
It was a great opportunity to catch up with Ronan, and literally, he'd come home from Estonia. He is flying out in a couple of days' time for the what do you call it? Oh, where's he off to?
Spain.
Spain. Oh yeah, Catalonia. You're right, Rally Catalonia. So it was a great opportunity to catch up with him. 2 rounds to go. We'll all be focused on him to see what happens, and even he doesn't know. There's so many variables in this, as he said in the chat there. It's not about just purely the results. It's also their attitude, their positivity. Are they learning, and are they picking up what they should be on the program? So be interesting to see what happens at the end of the year.
Yeah, because we've seen Ronan in action here in Ireland, and we're talking to him and all. He's so eager and so keen to learn, and he's always taking things on. He's been so good to us. He's always been so giving of his time, and even doing the wee vlogs and things earlier in the year and all that. He's a young fella. You'd love to see him going places, because he's got a great attitude.
Oh, he's got a fantastic attitude. And look, anytime I've been at an event and seen him in action, he is just a brilliant networker. He is out meeting, getting to know, greeting all the different people, involved behind the scenes in the WRC and the ERC events and that. So, he really is doing everything he should be doing at this stage to get himself known, and to open the right doors for him.
Yeah, and more. That's the thing about him, is he's such a keen and eager guy, and that's great to see. I also got a chance then to catch up with Conor Wilson. Conor, young fella coming up through the ranks, but really enjoying his rallying. He's been in, started off on the road. He's been doing RSA events. He's going to tell you all this, but he's built up his time with his R2 into a Rally 4. He's also sampled the Hyundai R5 and the Evo. He's living the dream, really, So in the next few weeks, he's now going to compete in the penultimate round of the WRC, the Central European Rally. And I just think it's fantastic. A guy only just ready to start into his third year of rallying, and they go and compete in the WRC. Brilliant. So let's hear from Conor. What was it that first got you involved in rallying?
Well, geez, a couple of years ago, it was a lot of friends from up home around Donegal and my father. We were all doing the RSA events. And that's where I started, actually in the Mini Cup Championship. So me and my father would dual drive the same car and we go up, and it was very, very competitive, nearly too competitive. But that's where it all started, and I didn't really think I would proper go and do stage rallies, but we took the plunge then, and here we are. But I still do the RSA events. They're great for value for money, and there's a great atmosphere about them. And they're very enjoyable,
They are, as you say, they're great value for money. They got 120 quid now, I think it is, isn't it? And you'll get 6-7 runs maybe in a day, and it's and the standard of the stage that they're setting up now is fantastic. You've got Shackleton, you have Achidui, you have Nuts Corner. You have great facilities to go and use as well.
Yeah. No, that's right. No, they use a lot of different, it's not the same thing every time you go there. And then for the likes of Shackleton, as big as it is, they change it up every now and then. So it's different every time you come to it or near thereabouts,
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's great even for dusting off cobwebs if you haven't been doing an event in a while. It gets you caught back up to speed,
Gives you a chance, as you say, to get the rust knocked off, And you've been out now doing the roads now, I suppose, now for the last 3 years. This year's worked out really well. You've worked your way up in the R2 Fiesta, but this year you want the route of Rally 4. Did you find much of a step from the Rally 2 Fiesta to the Rally 4 car?
Oh, definitely a completely different car. There's far more power in the Rally 4 car, and it's just the engineering, it's a lot more newer, and the technology has changed a lot, and it's just a far fresher car, and for handling and everything like that, it is far superior.
I always felt they are a proper built rally car, aren't they? They're not a road car sort of modified. They are a proper built from the ground up rally car.
Yeah, definitely. When we bought the car and went testing, there's a few boys there with us that have a bit more experience than me, and whenever I was testing, they were saying to me, "You need to be careful because it's more like an Evo with the power that's in it than a 1600 Fiesta."
Yeah. Well, and that was the car of choice in the Junior World Championship only a couple of years ago. So the pedigree of the car is fantastic cars.
No, that's right. Yeah. Still very relevant today, I think.
Yeah, that's for sure. And up until this year, you've been mainly concentrating on the tower, but this year then you moved on and done some gravel rallying as well. Nice to spread the wings and get a variety of surfaces.
I actually February was our first gravel event, Sean and I, and geez, I really, really did enjoy it. It was a nice change of pace than the tarmac, but going back to Rally 4 here, I think they're built more of gravel in mind than tarmac.
Okay.
Gravel's more popular out in Europe where the Rally 4 is coming from, and it just felt like it belonged in gravel compared to when I was driving around tarmac. There's far less work to be done on the setup to get her to do what you wanted and stuff. So I think that going to gravel this year is definitely the best step I've ever done.
Very good, very good. And you had a very successful year in the Northern Ireland Championship, and that championship has been sort of on the up now again. Has went through the doldrums there for a few years, but it's starting to come back again. If you go there and be fast, you're up against good competitors that helped you to push on your pace as well.
Yeah, there is, and it's not even that within the championship, but the events that are part of it are quite popular as well. And even if you're not championship registered, there's still a lot of competition in them. So there's a lot of different people to race against in it. But I like the North because it's very the events up there, they're very spread out, and everybody comes to know each other as doing it as part of the championship. But there's just it's just good, enjoyable events every year. I've done it last year as well, and both years I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and like, you've been very lucky over the last couple of years now. You've had a variety of cars as well, as well as the Rally 4. You've been lucky enough to sample the Evo and a Hyundai i20 R5 car. Like, that must be some experience for, somebody so, recent into events. I suppose the RSA events, you've got a lot of seat time like, built up as well too. But to be able to jump into an Evo and then into a Hyundai, like, they're both fantastic cars to get behind the wheel of.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm very fortunate. They're my father's cars, and if there's ever a problem with the Fiesta and I planned to do an event and I couldn't get parts from Msport or there's a delay somewhere, he gave me the opportunity to drive the cars that he has, and very thankful for that. But there was a bit of a difficulty last year going from, say, left-hand drive in the Rally 4 back into right-hand drive. The Hyundai, it was converted to right-hand drive as well, and that's the only difficulty I had in it. Plus, there was a lot more power to deal with. I had to learn to kind of pull back a bit more. But no, it's good to have a variety in different types of machinery, and it gives you more experience too, and helps you figure out what the car's doing. You know what I mean? It helps you learn it a lot more too.
Yeah, like everybody says about these R5 cars, the capabilities they have, or it's unbelievable. But I have always thought, coming up from the Rally 4 car, they were a great stepping stone because you have to drive them on the door handles to get the times out of them. You have to get the best out of the car. And I think a lot of that will transfer into the R5 car as well.
Yeah, you're breaking up a bit there, but I understand where you're coming from. So in the Rally 4 and the cars, you were driving a lot of the time like completely on the limit, and you would always wonder, like, Jesus, how could anybody drive a car any faster than that? But whenever I took the R5 to Down Rally last year, and I'd only ever drove her on track days prior to that. And at the very first stage, I didn't have a test or anything because it was a last minute decision. On the very first stage, me and Sean were sitting in the car and finished the launch mode and took off, and I just couldn't believe how, like, we thought we were as tight as we could be in the seats, but we ended up tightening, not even coming to the first corner because we were thrown backwards. And just the rate at which all of the trees and everything was passing us, it was nearly scary for the first stage, but we got into it then. There's a lot more power in it, and the 4-wheel drive as well, and the suspension, it pits all of the power it has down to the terrain, But yeah, no, it's definitely a good opportunity to try and learn different cars and everything like that,
Mm-hmm. And then this step, going to, doing that Central European round of the WRC, like, is it, to get yourself out there to compete against the best in the world, just to see who you're at against them, or what's the thought process behind it?
Well, to be entirely honest, there wasn't too much of a thought process behind it. I don't understand how, but we just heard of the event, I think on social media, and me and the father and a few other boys sitting around talking about it, and we just thought, geez, it'd be a great event to go and do because you're sampling a lot of different, like, you're in 3 different countries, and it's just the roads and all would be interesting. It just seemed like a very interesting event. So we just kind of looked into it then and thought, geez, how we'll put the entry and see how we get on. I don't really have any like plans in mind on how well we're going to do over there or anything. Now, obviously, we'd like to do as well as we could, but everyone else over there would be used to that kind of terrain and the roads over there. So we're not going to go in too hot-headed, but definitely we just seen it as a good opportunity to go out and sample a rally in a foreign country. And it's marked a week prior to the event is the 2-year anniversary of our first stage rally on the roads. So we just thought no better way to mark the occasion,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Isn't that mad that you, you've come so far, like, from starting your first road event, and 2 years later you're starting around the WRC? Like, that's that. You think the enormity of that, like, that's like starting to play football and running out then and Old Trafford or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a big jump. So it is definitely a big jump, but look, the opportunity was there, so may as well take it and see it just as an experience to learn and everything.
For sure. And we've seen, the ladder of progress that's there, with the MI Rally Academy and the guys, the Billy Coleman Award and all that there. Is that something you'd look at, maybe, hopefully get considered for that?
Well, I'm not too sure. I'm actually well up in the years. I'm
Oh, right.
25 next year. But I was very late to the game. But I'm getting up in the years now, and I don't really have any goals for the sport. Like I came into it doing the RCA events and everything, and it was just seen it as a way to, as a hobby more than anything. But I am very, very competitive, which is not really a good thing. But Rally Academy, it is interesting, but I'd say it comes with a lot of added pressure as well because you're competing, you're representing a body. It's not just going out to do the sport to enjoy it. You're there for goal night, like. But no, it's definitely doing very, very good things for Ireland, like because, like, geez, they're giving opportunity to a lot of people that are able to go and do these events, whereas otherwise they wouldn't be able to, So
Yeah. And it's getting Ireland noticed on the world stage as well. There's the
Definitely,
stories going around that that Ireland's been considered again for another round of the WRC, and that's because of those guys out representing and showing how special this wee country is, and that should be really has to be welcomed, isn't it?
yeah, definitely. It's good to see Ireland represented on the world stage, but there's a lot of top class drivers in Ireland. And like even like Rally Legends this weekend coming, and there's a good Irish entry for it. It's just great to see Irish competitors going abroad. And it really is bringing to the limelight how fast everybody is in Ireland, and the pace it is here. So definitely good for that as well.
Yeah, because right, not just even the top crews, right throughout, the Rally 4 guys, they're doing the Northern Ireland Championship, they're doing the National Championship, they're doing the Turnwhite Championship, and it's fractions of a second that's separating these guys at the end of the stages, and that has to help you makes you lift your game, and that's just taking you to the next level. It's taking the guy beside you, the car in front of you, the car behind you. Everybody's just looking for that extra tenth, and that has to be good for the sport.
Yeah, everybody's pushing each other on. Like no matter what class you look into, every single class, there's a good, serious pace in it. It's great to see as well, like top three in a class all separated by a matter of seconds. Like that's really tight racing. That's the way it was whenever I started in the RSA doing the mini cup. Everyone was within a second of each other at times. But it's really good to see it. Pushes everybody on, makes them enjoy the sport more. Everybody's more competitive because of it.
Yeah, I'm getting from you, you just love your time in a rally car. Work is work. Rallying is kind of almost a relief from work that you can go out, and go out and enjoy yourself. And if you can be competitive and do your best, and hopefully either win your class or get a good place, and that means as much to you as anything.
Yeah, definitely. You have to everybody has it the same, but like rallying is definitely for me a good release, like for getting away from work and everything like that there. But I think it is very important to just enjoy it as well, or else there's not really much point in being there and doing it. You would get sick of it. It would be a waste. But no, I think enjoying it is the main thing. And like everything else comes out of it then as you carry on. But if you're not enjoying it, you're never going to get anything out of it at all.
And you have good people around you. Like Sean's been co-driving you for a while, and the sister then even was co-driving you this year as well. So it's not just you. There's a whole team of people involved in this as well. You mentioned your father there earlier as well too.
Yeah, with everybody in rallying, there seems to be a good team behind them. But geez, I really enjoyed having Katie on with me this year because like my father was in service and my grandfather sometimes too, and it was just like good to have it as a family kind of effort. You know what I mean? But no, geez, Katie's a little bit crazy there. She doesn't like to slack off in the notes or anything. Everything is always adding a bit on, always adding fast on the end of a corner. She should be maybe, but no, it's definitely good to enjoy it as a family as well.
That's for sure. And with the Central European event coming up now in a couple of weeks' time, is the prep started for it already? Like the car will obviously, be probably more or less a full overhaul before the event. And like for you personally, is there anything you can do now in advance of the event?
There's a lot of prep in it. I know I was saying that I use rallying as a kind of a release from work, but there's a lot of prep going into this event because it's just so different than anything we've done before. But the car is getting a lot of work done to get her ready for the event, just to make sure that everything is in perfect condition. And Barry at BDM Motorsport doing that for us. And so, like transporting the car over, that has to be sorted out, accommodation, flights, but like there has to be itineraries and everything to do the rally, because it's just there's a lot packed into the week, and all. But there is a good team involved in it already. The boys over at Glasgow Motorsport, like Dean McLaughlin and everyone over there, are putting a lot of effort in to help me out. So I have to thank them for that. But like, there's actually recce videos on YouTube already, so I've been going through them. And this is actually going to be Sean and I's first event writing notes, so we're going to have to really put a lot of work into practicing for that as well. But yeah, there's a lot of prep going into it.
Yeah, but enjoyable. It's something that you're buzzed about, and it's something you're really looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Just very good opportunity and something new and different. Good way to end the year.
So that was lovely to hear there from Conor, and all the best now in the WRC in the next couple of weeks. So that was season 2, episode 31. Conor, that's us finished chatting rallying for another time. Please like, share, rate, subscribe, drop us an email, drop us a message in the socials. Been a pleasure as always. So until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.